The kindergarten games are no doubt my favorite games of all time. Everything about them is charming to me. The cutesy art style, the storylines, the puzzles, and the characters all come together to make something so endearing that I just can't help but hold close to my heart. The characters are something that especially stuck with me. The cast largely follows the actions of 5-year-olds, yet the way they act definitely does not match their age. Many of them don't think twice about ending each other's lives, all before they aren't able to read. Something about the kindergarten characters that are especially dear to me is that they are clearly based on a certain framework, but then get added to as they get deeper in the story. Take Cindy. She's the typical dumb, mean blonde girl. However, her actions are driven by vindictive jealousy and mimicking what she sees at home, something the audience can see when playing house with the main character. Kindergarten 1 set us up with a small but meaningful cast of characters where by the end of the game, the audience has a solid grasp on each of the 7 kids' roles in the games and what makes them recognizable. Kindergarten 2 took place in a bigger, better school, with 5 new kindergartners for the audience to get to know and love, all without making the original characters seem washed out or boring, even if they did have less screen time. Kindergarten 3 released on June 18th, 2025, almost 6 years after its predecessor. Naturally, I played the entire game in one sitting. There's lots to take in. They deepened the lore, building on the last 2 games as frameworks, and creating a long-term conflict that sets the next games up to succeed. That said, there was one major issue I had with it. It's Davy. Okay, no, it's not. Well, it is, but it's not just him. Truth be told, the new children in Kindergarten 3 are just not doing it for me. Before we get to that, I need to address the bigger issue. The new game removes 5 characters to introduce the new ones. 3 of them are explained in-game. Billy and Ted are at a different school and Penny is dead. Bugs is mentioned offhandedly once and Jerome is just gone. No explanation or anything, he's just gone. It's understandable to cut down the number of characters when dealing with a game like this. Working with a big cast would have made it difficult to distribute the screen time and importance between each kid without making the game much longer. The issue, though, is that the new characters don't exactly bring anything new to the table. They're not terrible, they're not amazing, they're just kinda there. And honestly, some of them seem to just rehash what old characters had. Kevin will never be Billy, and he should feel sick to think that he does. Even the plot-relevant ones like Davy didn't really spark anything for me. Hell, even his own father agrees. And don't get me started on that alligator. We already have a weird kid obsessed with specific thing archetype, and Davy didn't do anything that Nugget doesn't already do. Going back to Kevin, Alice spending the entire game finding Kevin was honestly just giving Lily trying to find Billy in Kindergarten 1 but worse. We have no reason to care about Kevin. The other children hardly talk about him, and we don't even know why Alice wants to find him besides the fact that she was his friend. Which, looking back, is, I guess, a good enough reason, but we're not going to talk about that. Alice and Kevin, arguably some of the most plot-relevant characters in the game, have no metaphorical meat on their bones. At least in the first game, Billy was the talk of the school. Literally every child would mention him at least once, kids would get mystery pills just for talking about missing him, and we got sent to the office if we spoke about him too much. Billy was interesting. Billy was a sensation. Billy was the whole reason we were trying to get to the end of the game. In Kindergarten 2, the missing kids were kept a secret. We knew kids went missing, but it was covered up and we didn't really think twice about them. We didn't care about Madison, Ron, and Alice because we weren't meant to. Kevin? Kevin is a joke. We heard his name in Kindergarten 3, but we were given nothing. Yes, he got kidnapped. Nothing new at this point. We hear Regis talk about him, okay? He was sketchy anyway, no surprise there. We as the players didn't have much of any reason to care about Kevin, especially when the only one convincing us to care about him was Alice, someone who we also didn't really have much to go off of. Let's think about what each child brings. Austin is a dense kid who likes throwing things. He also has a thing for Alice. Emmy is a nice girl who likes gardening. Davy is a weird kid who likes alligators. Alice is a girl who went missing. Kevin is a boy who went missing. Yes, I really think that's the extent of their characters. And I know there's someone out there who's thinking, well, if you dumb them down to their simplest traits, of course they're gonna sound bad. But here's the thing. We can do that to the Kindergarten 2 kids, characters who were added to the original cast just like the Kindergarten 3 kids are, and it'd be very clear that there are things missing. Take these two for example. Felix is a mean rich boy. Ted is a nice rich boy. At their cores, that's what they are. However, just playing the game will let the audience know there's much more to them than that. Felix has a superiority complex because that's how his family, specifically his father, had raised him to think. He's going to inherit their company after all. He needs to be the best of the best. Ted is nicer because he's self-conscious about being the worst twin. He's constantly walked over and mistreated by his brother, yet fully believes he loves him, so why wouldn't he want to listen to him? In Ted's eyes, Felix wants him to be the best he can be, even if he is a little harsh about it. Already, there's so much more to these two characters than simply mean rich boy and nice rich boy, and this is shown to the audience throughout their missions in-game. My point is, the new characters in Kindergarten 3 don't have the same kind of depth that the previous kids have. If we do some digging, there might be some theories as to why or how these kids are who they are, but just by playing the game, it isn't clear that there's really any more to them than this. And on top of that, 5 previous characters with this kind of depth got cut from the game, leaving us with a weird off feeling, like something's missing. So what could have been done instead? The obvious option is simply reintroducing the previous characters into the third game, but I'm sure Conman Games has a plot-related explanation as to why that isn't an option. Maybe they're in another school, but that other school is really another laboratory. But instead of an underground lab like the last few games, it's an above-ground lab. Whoa, I need a second. Anyways, with this idea, the new characters would be able to bounce off the existing ones, just like Alice and Emmy did with Cindy. By far my favorite moments with the new girls were all scenes where they were interacting with Cindy. Even if we kept the focus on the new characters, just having them interact with the old cast could make them way more memorable and bring out more personality in them. Think about it. Emmy being pushed to kill Cindy was the big moment where the nice girl shtick didn't work for her anymore. It showed us that there was more to Emmy than we'd have thought, albeit in a bit of a basic way. Had the older cast been in the threequel, we could have fleshed out some of the new characters in a similar fashion. Maybe Bugs could have helped Davy with the janitor after watching what happened to Miss Applegate, or Ozzy talking to Austin about his thing with Alice, cause apparently Ozzy has a girlfriend somehow. If bringing back the old kids is entirely out of the question, the other option is giving the new cast the same amount of development that the previous characters had. We know Emmy loves gardening and is a vegan and all that. Maybe her parents got her into that. Maybe they think it's dumb. Maybe it's a hobby she picked up strictly after she started school. Just a line or two of dialogue somewhere to give us anything. I don't like Linda, so I'm not going to talk about her too much, but if Regis didn't want her in the school, then why not get rid of her when he was a janitor? He already has our janitor trying to get rid of her, so it's not a power thing. Davy and her clearly go way back, and it didn't seem like a problem before. I personally think she's dumb and that we could have had the whole game without her, but hey, Davy needs something to keep him interesting. The heart of the game contrasts cute little kids at school with unexpected shock violence. You wouldn't dare think a little autistic boy would knowingly poison another kid and make him do his bidding, would you? The problem with the new characters is that they don't clash with the cutesy kindergarten aesthetic like the others do. I guess besides Emmy being pushed to murder when she gets ruthlessly tormented, but that was a very one-time thing, and the nice kid gets pushed till they break trope isn't exactly a dry well. The main part of what drew me into kindergarten was the characters. Billy, Lily, Cindy, even Jerome wherever he is now. When you build 2 whole games around a great cast of characters, then delete nearly half of them and flatten the replacements, it's hard to not be a bit sad. The game is still amazing. The art is so cute, the puzzles are fun, and they absolutely nail the dialogue. The "when I closed that deal in Bangkok" bit had me crying, it was so funny. I have over 12 hours in the game and it only just came out yesterday. This video is just about one complaint I have about the game, and I have way more positives than negatives. I love the Kindergarten series so much, and me making this video is in no way trying to say otherwise. Honestly, what fueled me to make this video was mostly because Billy wasn't in the third game. Like, come on, he was missing in the first game, and now we don't get to see him at all? Let me see Billy again, please! I digress. Do you love Kevin and are upset that I dogged on him so much in this video? Have you loved Alice since 2019 and are really upset that I'm saying anything bad about her? Let me know in the comments below. This has been Jasper from Mech Hands, and I'll see you in the next one.